Hi everybody, it's Joe Cioffi here on this Thursday, June 14th, and we're at 7 minutes after 8 Eastern Time on what has been a really nice day here out my way, although last night in northeastern Pennsylvania, near Scranton, a confirmed EF2 tornado, and judging by some of the damage that I did see, it looks like it was every bit of an EF2 and maybe even possibly an EF3. EF is enhanced Fujiwara scale. Just like with hurricanes, we have the Saffir-Simpson scale, which is on a 1 to 5 scale for hurricanes. With tornadoes, we have the Fujiwara scale, which has now been changed a little bit, and it's called the enhanced Fujiwara scale. And an EF2 in the Northeast doesn't happen too often. Usually you'll get, we've seen EF0s, EF1s, and the occasional EF2. This season we seem to be seeing a few more of those EF2s, and we've even had an EF3 back a month ago in the Hudson Valley in my neck of the woods. I was hoping to get Brad Schweitzer Sr. of SS Storm Chase and Forecast Team, which we do some work for, and waiting to hear back from him. But I have two live, they were live from earlier today, including one where you see the aerial footage of some of the damage that occurred in a shopping center near Panera Bread outlet, and you could take a look at that. They're on my Facebook page. If Brad Skypes me back, we'll try and get him on here as a guest. So let's take a look. I want to start off with the Pacific Tropics, because we're seeing the second fastest start to the tropical storm season in the Pacific. This is the fourth we have the fourth tropical cyclone, which you can't really see. It's on the lower right corner. You can see the edge of it off the coast of Mexico. It's a tropical depression, and that was upgraded this afternoon. It missed it by 6 hours of being, the fastest starting hurricane season. But we still have Tropical Storm Bud. You can see the well-defined circulation is just off the southern tip of the Baja Peninsula as a tropical storm. Top winds are 45 miles an hour, and they are seeing gales there. Bud is going to move over the southern part of Baja, then into Mexico, and then find its way up northward. The moisture going into Arizona and New Mexico, and eventually up into Colorado and through the Rockies. So it is going to at least bring some drought relief, however slight. It will bring some drought relief to the very dry Southwest, which has been dry for months and months and months. So we're going to be, we'll watch to see, what that does in that area. If you look off the west coast there on the top of the satellite, you can see those clouds dropping southward. That is the deep trough that is along and off the west coast that is going to dominate the western part of the U.S. over the next several days. So anything that forms off the Pacific coast of Mexico, instead of taking its usual westward track, they're taking these more northerly tracks, and the new depression is likely to move inland along the coast of Mexico, or at the very least straddle very close to it over the next couple of days, and it probably stands a fair chance of becoming at least a tropical storm. So we're going to watch that. Also, if you look out to the west-northwest of that, or to the west-southwest of Bud, you can see the remnant low of Aletta is still there. It looks like actually a little convection seems to have increased there around the remnant low. But the waters here, this time of year, you don't have to really go too far north to find colder waters, and also probably a little bit of shearing might be going on here with the trough that's up to the north. So that is that when it comes to Bud. Now we do have, just to show you the precip outline for this, and over the last couple of days we've seen the precip areas shift a little bit. Over the next 7 days rains from Bud seem to be a little bit further to the west, but some of that's going to get into Arizona and New Mexico. And there's also some substantial rains, relatively speaking, being forecast for parts of West Texas and Northwest Texas, which has also been extremely dry up through northeastern New Mexico and up through Colorado. Some significant rains there. And then all of this arcs around into the plains because this moisture is going to get drawn up northward, and you're going to see some heavier rains again and thunderstorms across Minnesota and on up through Wisconsin. Notice not a whole lot going on precip-wise in the east because of the ridge that's going to be building. So you do have some shower and thunderstorm activity down in the southeast, but nothing like what it's been over the last several weeks. And of course, we also have heavy precip for the Texas Gulf Coast into southwest Louisiana, and this is in regards to the disorganized weather that's in the Northwest Caribbean, which the Hurricane Center is only rating it as a 10% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone. We're going to I'm going to go down to my neck of the woods to show you the visible satellite picture, because very interesting is you have a storm that's sitting up near Nova Scotia, and there are a lot of clouds up through New England, but the cloud line is running down through Connecticut and into Long Island. So south and west of there, it's bone dry clear, and we just had an absolutely spectacular day here with lots of sunshine, a warm west breeze of 20 to 30 miles an hour at times, and temperatures that climbed everywhere into the low and mid 80s. It looks like the weather overall over the next 4 days is going to be fine and dandy for summertime stuff. Not so much tomorrow with temperatures in the 70s, but as we get through the weekend, we're going to see those temperatures warm up. Severe weather tonight, busy in severe weather land up in the northern plains, where we have a large area of slight risk in the Dakotas and into northwestern Minnesota, an enhanced risk in showing up there in northern North Dakota, and even a small area of moderate risk, and that's where we have a tornado watch up tonight. Just if you are watching, always remember we're on right now. It's 8:15 Eastern time, so you're seeing the 8:15 view here with the almost real-time radar behind it. And if you are watching this video later on this evening or tonight, do check your local National Weather Service office in your particular location if you are at risk for severe weather, so you can see the latest radar. Also, small area of marginal risk in eastern Missouri, southwestern Illinois. We've got scattered showers and thunderstorms occurring across the Gulf states of the southeast, more the typical late afternoon and evening stuff that you see. Otherwise, the radars everywhere else, at least for where it's relevant, is they're on the quiet side. We'll go to the models, and I want to just start with the NAM tonight. And one thing about, all the models have, the long range models for a while were developing this system in the Northwest Caribbean and into the Gulf of Mexico, and of course the models have all backed off on that. But we do have the NAM model today for some reason for the last couple of runs. It does actually attempt to spin up a low there along the Gulf Coast. Now, it's the only one that's doing it. The other models are showing pretty much a straight southeast flow, and they really don't do very much with this. But they do bring the moisture up. But you can see that the NAM does attempt to spin up a bit of a low there as we move into Sunday. I will use the same rule that I use with the long range, and that is if you don't see at least 3 of these models showing something like this, you have to really kind of view it with a bit of skepticism. Here's the European, by the way, which doesn't really show anything. There's lower pressures and probably a trough here along the Texas coast, but it doesn't show any kind of low center. And even as we go into Monday, you don't really see very much. Of course, the red here indicating the outline of the upper ridge that builds into the east. So this is going to be the hot day on Monday for my neck of the woods as we wind up with temperatures climbing up into the 90s. It'll be the hottest day of the spring, and who knows, depending on the weather patterns, it has happened where it winds up being the hottest day of the summer, believe it or not, but for the whole season. But here's the high temperature map for Monday afternoon, which will be the hottest day, and you got 90s, you have middle 90s all the way up into Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire, low and mid 90s down through New York City and New Jersey, and even for a good chunk of Long Island. Won't be that much of a sea breeze impact here, and middle and even some upper 90s when you get down into Virginia and North Carolina. The GFS actually even printing out a couple of 100-degree readings there in parts of western North Carolina. So definitely going to be some hot weather here, but getting there is going to be fun over the weekend in terms of the nice weather for Father's Day, that's for sure, and we're kind of glad about that. Hasn't been a really nice spring around here in my neck of the woods, so it's a big plus to at least you get to the last weekend of the spring and you finally are going to see some decent weather. The problem for tomorrow, again, is you got this upper trough dropping down into the east, which might produce a few clouds for New England and maybe down into the northern the northernmost part of the mid-Atlantic states. But I don't think for me it makes it any worse than partly sunny. You can see Bud on the GFS coming inland and sweeping up the rain into New Mexico and Arizona and Colorado. The east basically dry. You also can see the a little trough here, or maybe a weak low Sunday afternoon off the coast of Texas, with rains coming into the Texas Gulf Coast and heading up northward from there. The rainfall from all of this, the total accumulated precip is, we'll take it, we have it out to Tuesday morning. So, it's basically 1 to 2 inch rain amounts in the southwest, not quite as bullish as the WPC, the Weather Prediction Center, with their rainfall amounts. You can also see the big amounts being generated up in the northern plains and up through northern Minnesota and Wisconsin, with some 4-inch plus amounts. Of course, those are going to all be thunderstorm driven, so you can always wind up with more. And along the Gulf Coast, we've got some 2 to 4 inch amounts from just northeast of Corpus Christi on up into southwestern Louisiana near Lake Charles, and the rest of the southeast, pretty much the usual nonsense with the afternoon thunderstorms doing whatever it is they're going to do. So the long-range upper air pattern is, where is it? Hold on. We'll do the North Atlantic. I think that's probably going to give us the widest view. I can't seem to always get that North America view anymore. That's a technical issue on my part that I got to resolve. Okay, so backing this up. Oh, come on, really? Sorry about that. So we'll start with the 6 hour here. There's your trough in the east with that low that is sitting east of Newfoundland, west of southern Greenland. And then it finally pulls out enough that you get that ridge to build in the east into early next week. We will get a cold front through here on Tuesday that will perhaps Tuesday might still be pretty warm, but after that we'll see some cooler conditions, and you still see this tendency of troughing in the east. The big ridge disappears, and then the flow gets kind of westerly as we move into the latter part. We're starting into June 26th and 27th here in the long range. So again, as I've been saying for a number of days now, we don't see anything that would suggest that it could that would suggest any prolonged heat in the Northeast or the Mid-Atlantic states, or at least the northernmost Mid-Atlantic states. No sign of any kind of prolonged heat because of the fact that you just can't get a ridge to build for too long without some trough getting in the way and causing some issues. So I'm just going to check real quick to see if I got an answer back from Brad Schweitzer, but I did not. I'm sure he's just really busy. So we'll hope maybe we'll try to get him on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, which will start out on Facebook at 8. Let's shoot probably for around 8:50. So let me come back to the board and say hi to everybody. I hope everybody had a great day. David Allen, Dio, James NASCAR, Delvin, Iron Mind 10, PlayStation Boss, Chris Alley, still got my voice problem, Chris. Good to see you, by the way, on Saturday over at the North Babylon Library. Great to touch base with you. Mirtha Gunter, Priscilla Mayu, good to see you guys all over on board here. Kevin Mackey's 44 miles southwest of Wilkes-Barre with that EF2 tornado hit. I have to tell you, there was a, in a big shopping center, rather large flat building. It looked like the entire roof was peeled off, almost like a can opener. It was really quite impressive. And you also could see the variability in some of the damage. Again, if you go, when we're done, check out on my Facebook. I did put up 2 live videos that you can take. I'm sorry, 2 live videos that were done earlier today by SS Storm Chase and Forecast Team, Brad Schweitzer. He did show some aerial footage with a drone. It was pretty interesting. Yeah, Anthony Salvato, you're going to have these problems, with these models spinning up things down the road. With the troughing in the east, I suppose something like that is not impossible, but I really would rather just kind of wait till we get to the short range to see where we're going with all this. As we know, models do like to change a lot beyond the 7-day period. Let's see. Israel, you don't have Facebook, then you just got to wait for me to upload the video later on this evening. Johnny Quest, finally some dry weather. Yes, all the water around, the mosquitoes are all over the place, and you can't go outside. Big downside when you have a lot of rain, you do get a lot of bugs, and yes, it makes for a really wonderful mosquito season. Nobody, who doesn't like to get chewed alive by a bunch of mosquitoes? Yeah, God. That is, that does not make being fun. Make it fun being outside. Israel, wouldn't be surprised if Lakewood gets up into the 96 to 100. Tends to be very hot and humid here on those kind of days. You know what? Somebody's going to push upper 90s. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So don't be shocked if that happens. All right. So look, I'm going to put an end to it here. I want to rest my voice a little bit more. And there is a whole lot going on, really. So I'm going to probably take it a little bit on the light side over the next 3 days, a little time off, give the voice a rest. I'll do a live stream tomorrow. Saturday I'm going to be doing a little fishing up in Connecticut, so I may live stream from the Farmington River. And Sunday being Father's Day, if I do something on Father's Day, I will do it early in the day. So, of course, if weather conditions say otherwise, you know me, I may always change my mind. Just to mention the fact that I'm going to part of the Amazon affiliate program. If you shop on Amazon and use the link that's on the description of this video, you get your stuff, and it lets my channel earn some fees from Amazon. And everybody's happy. It's a great way to support my channel, and it doesn't cost you a cent. And those of you who have, I appreciate it very much. Thank you. And have a great evening. Joe and Joe Show at 8. Joe and Joe Weather Show at 8:50 on Facebook. And if you don't have Facebook, no worries. I will upload it to YouTube sometime between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. And there actually is Grandparents' Day, Israel, but it's also Father's Day, and I'm a father and a grandfather. And thank you. Happy Father's Day to everybody, in case you're not on over the next couple of days. Otherwise, you'll get another Happy Father's Day greeting over the next couple. One to say, is there a way to set my business Amazon account to work for me? You could just use the link. The link on the page. You don't have to buy what's on there. You can just, you use the search box on there. That's cool, and the same thing works. So yeah, if you bookmark, if you bookmark it and use that as your route, yeah, that'll work. All right. Have a great evening, folks, and we'll see you tomorrow.